Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Gameroom Discourse. I'm James.
And I'm Joey.
I couldn't be with us right now. He's feeling ill. Uh, Send me your best wishes.
Yeah, send him your best wishes and sorry for the not too many episodes. It's just been life.
Life, and we've been preoccupied. Uh,
Yes. That's
Unfortunately,
quite the topic of this video as well.
yes. In Discord right now, my actual statuses are about our today's topic, Elden Ring, and Elden Ring has destroyed my sleep schedule completely and
Yeah.
utterly.
I would say the same, but uh it's only part of it. Elden
I
Ring
mean,
is only a part of it.
Elden Ring. I have been staying up at late at night, like until like the sun comes up a lot of the time, and I'm just like, man, this isn't healthy.
Yeah, you just lose track of time and you're just like, one more dungeon. And then what the hell? It's 2 in the morning. It's 4 in the morning.
Well, I mean, it's a Souls game that is open world, and putting those two together is addictive to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, where do we want to start off? Ooh, it is difficult. I'll say that it is
I
difficult.
It is
Not due
difficult.
to not even due to like I know why it's difficult most of the time. It's me not having enough knowledge and being stupid a lot of the time. It sets off of, like, a lot of basic rules of, like, you don't have to face everything at the beginning, like, with the very first, boss that you meet,
Yeah.
and, well, first 2 bosses technically that you meet. It it sets off of, like, rules of, like, get better, get good, find your play style, stuff like that.
Yeah, it really gives you the chance to have things click. And, like, I've heard a lot of things about Soulsborne Die Twice games, or should I say Elden Soulsborne Die Twice games, where it's just you have
Excuse
to
me.
just continue banging your head against that wall until it clicks, and then you know where to bang your head against the wall.
I would even say that too. I mean, like, in Elden Ring, you can actually just go out and find something better, like with, was it Megraph, the first the ill omen, isn't it? No, or is it fell omen? Fell omen, sorry.
Yes, the fell onion.
Basic the first boss before you hit, Stormvale Castle. If you explore a bit, you can actually find something that nerfs that boss a bit, so it makes it easier for you. But so basically you get rewarded for going out and finding that stuff. I mean, or you could find, like, an OP weapon, or personally, I went out of my way to get, Guts' greatsword to
Of
make
course.
a lot of fights better for me because I mean I play more of the tanky style. Like I play shield and sword, and getting a giant colossal greatsword reminds me of guts. Helps me out a lot.
Yeah. For me, I don't usually like having a shield out because when I block, it feels like, hey, I'd rather just be attacking to stagger him so that he doesn't attack me.
I mean, other Souls games got to put that into your head too, though. I mean, from before, but now we have like guard counters, which is also good because those are also make it easier to stagger them as well.
They really do.
Guard
Uh,
counters are so good. That's why I like it. But,
yeah.
there's other playstyles, though. I mean, you could two-hand the great sword and you get more damage on it and more likely to stagger the opponent or, like, your
Yes.
enemy or
A-
whatever the frick
And you can also dual wield every single weapon in the game.
weapon in the game.
And
Yep.
if you press
As long as you have
L1, it becomes a power stance and it does so much damage.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
it's
nice.
crazy.
L1 or LB or, I can't even remember the thing for PC because PC gets a little bit screwed by this game, but,
The assigned keyboard button.
yes, you assign keyboard button for that, which is the best, but anyway, well, I'll talk about that later. I like how this game allows you to play any kind of play style. It made them all kind of balanced to the point that you can actually play them in PvE, you know?
Yeah. It just gives you all these weapons that were in previous games, they make them all viable, and they just tell you to set loose, go wild.
Get whatever the frick you want. Start off the way you want, get whatever the frick you want. You can start off as samurai and turn out to be full sorcery at the end of it. Because
Exactly.
personally, I I
I
found like
started with halberd, and I was just like, "Oh, hey, this is pretty fun." And then I saw my brother using this weapon called the Bloodhound Fang, and I was just like,
oh, I
"Holy
know that
shit,
one.
that looks
Yeah,
so cool."
the curved greats. Well,
Yes, the curved greatsword. It's
sorry,
just a
yes,
greatsword, but it's curved.
I found it earlier. Through another thing. Another mission basically led me to that one.
Yeah, it's really good.
I mean, it's a really good sword. I like Guts as well. Mostly, I like the non-unique weapons. Again, with Guts' great swords, non-unique. Mostly because you can change its scaling.
Yes, you
For
can
those that
change
don't
its
know,
scaling with like keen quality, all that kind of
the
stuff. You can change its Ash of
keen
War, which is
quality,
the
heavy, yeah,
yeah,
which
it's
is the
the
skill that you can equip onto a weapon or shield or
whatever you want. Sometimes it's a
yeah,
stomp that brings up a lot of icicles. Rip the people who are using that build. It just got nerfed, and it can also be things that buff your attacks. It can be an attack that only specific weapons can do. And
or
with
it could be
non-unique
barrier shield.
weapons, hmm?
Or it could be barrier shield, one that's for the shields that isn't a parry.
Yeah,
The one that I really like because it allowed me to tank some very insane attacks that I shouldn't have been able to tank.
yeah, it does that. I was also gonna mention how shit. What was I gonna mention? Right.
And the unique Ashes of
Non
War.
no non-unique weapons. You need a lot of smithing stones, like
Yeah,
regular smithing stones, because there's regular, which if a weapon uses that to increase it, it's kind of like the Titanite shards in the original
yeah.
game. They're like Dark Souls
There's
2, that
smithing
kind of
stone
stuff.
and there's somber smithing stones,
Yes.
aka this is the normal one and this is the rarer one,
Yes. And the rare one, you only need one for
respectively.
each level. So, say you want to get something increased all the way up to the highest level, you need Somber 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then the hidden one.
Always, yeah. But the thing is though, the normal ones are a lot more common, and also you can eventually just buy them.
Yes.
Like if you get the ball bearing for it, aka something that allows you to unlock a new shop
Yes.
near this
And the
main
bell
area.
bearings, there are a lot of them. There are some for unique characters that you can buy. Either they're a merchant and they sell stuff, so if you kill them, you get their bell bearing. And hey, you can buy what they want just in one place, which
Yeah,
I don't do because I feel like an ass if I do that. It's like,
yeah,
oh
I
hey,
don't do that either.
kill every merchant and make it so that you only need to buy from one place, and it's like no.
No, I normally just like okay, if I need something from here, I just buy everything from there, like the crafting book. I'll
Yes,
get into crafting for a minute, but again, the I do want to get back to the weapons of it helps for a bit because also the normal weapons are customizable, like they're more customizable, being able to put any Ash of War on them, change the scaling, and like you know fit it out to how you want it to be. Whereas the unique ones are like very specific. So if you do find one that is like for you, it's really nice. But also you need a lot of you need to find the right amount of somber. You just need somber smithing stones.
yeah.
I mean, you can also buy them eventually from one guy later in the game, but I can't even just like give its location exactly because it's a bit apart, bit in the map where no, not everyone can see at the very beginning.
Yeah.
It's also nice because like when it comes to upgrading, it like progresses with you too. I also like that. I mean,
Well,
that's just
that's how it's
upgrading
always been with the
and
From
yeah.
Software games.
I mean, yeah, that's how it's always been. But for some reason, I like it even more in this game. I don't know how to explain it.
It's because you get exploration and you can find something that's way out of your league, and you're like, shit, I can't use this yet because I need to upgrade it until that level. And then once you do, it's like, oh shit, now I can upgrade it even more. And it's so satisfying. It's like you went out of your way to find the thing that was like above your level, and now you get rewarded for that. It feels so good.
You get rewarded. You get rewarded for trying hard in this game, for doing anything in this game. Like
Yes.
remembering what the patterns are for certain bosses or certain character, like certain opponents. Like a reoccurring opponent that you find, and I actually call my mortal enemy, is the Crucible Knight. This freaking knight I hate so much, but now I've gotten to the point where I actually just like I know your patterns now. I know how to beat you.
Yes, just attack his shield, and he tries to go for the up thing, dodge it at right the perfect time, and then just do a fully charged attack.
Nah, that's not even it for me. I could block most of his stuff, so that way I could like I know how exactly how his moves are, so I
You and
actually
your
can block in
you and
sync
your
with it.
blocking with shields.
I can perfect block his entire string now, dude. I know him that much, and I mean
That's
also
fair.
a barrier. Like I mean, and then I can just get guard counter on it, which is comes out faster than fully charging. It's
Yeah.
really fun. I mean, like again, both styles are good as long as you play the game how you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I
I mean,
I
I know
just
Chris.
I just don't like shields. I'm sorry. They
That's
just
fair.
slow
It's
things
fair.
down.
I mean, I like taking things slow. It allows me to read the battle easier for me, honestly.
That is fair. And if you have the Flask of Wondrous Physics or whatever it is, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you use that, you can what is it? You can
mix.
have something that regains your health over a period of time. And so if you
I
take
do
things
have that one.
slow, yes.
I do have that one actually.
It's
I have
very
that, and
useful
also
for
it's a half. It's a half one, so for me tanking, it's just like, haha, yes, take the battle slow, read the
yes.
opponent.
Haha, you touched my shield and I took a little bit of health. Well, in 10 minutes it's going to be right get back.
It's not even that for a lot of them. I mean, a lot of the in-game stuff only does physical damage. So most of the time I don't have to worry about the little nick of damage.
That is fair. Yeah.
I mean, of course, there is stuff I can't block for the shield. Like each playstyle also has its weaknesses. For example, me, I can't guard against grabs, so I have to be aware of that.
Yeah, usually when it comes to all attacks, I just wait until they swing and then dodge.
I mean, I'm allowed to I mean, as long as I have enough stamina, which I have a lot of stamina, I can block, read the opponents, and I can figure out stuff most of the time. I'm just like, oh, this is when I should dodge because, like with Crucible Knight, enemy I faced, there's a attack that does a lot of non-physical damage, so I have to actually just dodge it entirely.
Yep.
Of course, there's also poison damage and all the other stuff that stacks up like blood and yeah,
Oh, and then Scarlet Rot. It's like poison but worse.
Yeah, it is. It is because I can't use a lot of stuff afterwards.
It's a good thing I have a dragon communion seal that has O Flame Cleanse Me that gets rid of poison and Scarlet Rot when I
Yeah,
use
I,
it.
I got that too because of I'm a tank build. I kind of need to get all that off of me.
Oh, have you used the Blood Flame Blade with the Gut
Yes,
Sword? Oh, it's so good.
yes. You've seen me use it with Gut Sword, remember? That one time we played online together,
I
I
do
just blood flame on my Gut Sword.
I remember that. I remember that, I really do, but I don't. I just kind of
Understandable.
went back to Elden Ring, was just like, ah ha ha, Elden Ring, yes.
Understandable.
Hmm.
Understandable. But I mean, again, it works really well. I really do like it. I also have recently I got Radon's equipment, and it works so well to build, and also it looks good too. Mm,
Oh, it really
it's
does.
nice.
It's the double sword, or no, his armor.
Yeah, his armor,
Okay, yeah, his armor is really good.
good. Yeah, the lion's armor, and I'm like, oh, it's so strong.
It is really strong.
and also the cape for aesthetic purposes. I mean, I can take it off for like to lessen the weight and also some of the stats, but no, I like the stats and I like the cape. I hate that some of the stuff wants you to remove like the aesthetic stuff from it to like gain a buff for it though. I'm just like,
Yeah. It's just I can either go with Radahn's armor set and look cool as fuck, or I can go for the Dung Eaters thing, and it's just
this is
like
my ass kicking outfit, bitch.
I know exactly which ProZD video you're talking about.
Talking about exactly
It's like this
going
looks
for
absolutely terrible, but it's my strongest equipment.
exactly.
Hmm.
Oh man, but still, yeah, customization in this game is really fun. You get access to a lot of stuff really early on, so you can play whatever the heck you want and play however the fuck you want. Beat any boss however you want. But I
Yep.
mean, like some
Play
bosses
any
will be
build however
easier
you
and
want.
harder.
Yeah.
Will be easier and harder depending on your build,
Yes.
and will cause you to rethink some things.
Because there is a late game boss which is really fucking stupid for close range builds. Even if you have a
Oh
shield.
no! Oh no!
Even if you have a shield. And
Like I've
people
had,
who have played
yeah,
it and like almost 100% of it, you know which one I'm talking about. It's the hardest boss in the game, just because like every single move that they do is so much fun to dodge against and like attack, and it's like a whole dance. And then they just do this one move, and it's like, oh hey, time for the fun to end.
understandable. Oh, I could feel that a little bit with other bosses, but I mean,
No, with other bosses, even if it's unfair, it's still kind of fair.
yeah. The thing is, like, when you make when you die, it's your fault. They clearly choreographed what they were going to do to you, and what you did was your mistake, like panic dodging or like trying to jump in early or getting greedy with trying to hit another time. Most
Yes.
of the time, it's your fault.
Yeah, because some of the bosses are just like, "Oh, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you in like a year. You better not dodge. Oh, you dodged the wrong
I'm
time.
I'm still
Attack."
pull I'm still pulling back, you freaking idiot. But then second phase, I'm changing it up. It's gonna be slightly different from last time. Oh man. Uh, again, I was talking about Crucible Knight. He freaking
uh,
gives me PTSD because he freaking does a second attack where it's just like, bruh, you don't have this one memorized, you idiot. Ah,
yeah,
man. Also, I do like when you get to meet other bosses in back into later on in the game. Like normally the ones that you find from the summonings, from the big circle, the arena circles, and also McGrath that I've seen.
I think it was like Eldegoal, or I forget what it's called.
The boss that like like summons McGrath.
Yeah,
Mm, I I do remember it, but I was just like, ah, now I can show how stronger I am. Makes a mistake, fuck, I'm dead. But I mean, like, it's still really good, even when you're dying. I mean, I can understand why it's a deter for a lot of people, because I mean, dying is normally assumed when you failed, you idiot. When in like Elden Ring, in Soulsborne games, it's more of just a learning experience of like, oh, I got closer. Oh, I saw that this is what he did this time, and that new attack that he did that I didn't see before is nice.
yeah. Oh, he hasn't done that before. Time to learn it and dodge the fuck out of it.
Or you get to see something that is really cheesy, and it's just like, huh, time to abuse that.
Have you seen the laser builds that some people
I I
do?
I have seen the laser build. I mean, in my opinion, I don't like it because it's, at that point it's just like, well, you're just kamehamehaing the boss, and I don't know how that's interactive for you.
Yes, but it's also so much fun to have someone like that on your team, and it's just like, ah, I don't have to worry about anything, or I just need to draw aggro and the boss is dead.
I mean, at the same time, yeah, I feel that. At the same time, it also makes you go, man, that could have been a really fun boss fight, and you just kind of ignored.
Well, I mean, I
But
only really do that kind of bullshit tactics if it's a boss fight that's doing bullshit tactics against me. Like, hey, this
fair
boss
enough.
is really fun to do, except for the fact that the second phase is really annoying. So, uh,
I mean,
damn.
understandable.
Yes.
Um, I remember going up against okay, this one's gonna be a little bit spoilery. It's the Queen of the Moon. I forget her exact name.
Renala?
Yes, Renala, exactly.
Sorry, I kind of fought her
One of
multiple
the bears,
times.
one of the bears of the Elden Ring. Basically one of the parts of the Elden Ring,
Yes.
and I was just like, I have to go about this boss completely differently because this is a all sorcery. They're going that it's that it is. So I have to actually be wary of so much stuff and play even more patiently.
Yes. For me, I only got to there when I was extremely overpowered. So I was just like, oh, hey, I know exactly how to do this because it's kind of obvious with the glowing golden
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, it's obvious, but also at the same time, like if you were slow and big, like I got it like early, so that one was like, oh, okay. No, I mean like the first phase, like the first. There's technically two boss battles for this one boss. The first one was very obvious and easy because it was just like it was a puzzle fight basically. And if you managed to do like the thing in the boss, you could beat it. And then the second boss was just balls to the wall, a lot of magic, a lot of sorcery. Ugh. If you weren't careful, you'll get caught off guard. It was really cool though, and by cool I meant it was also very aesthetic.
It
Try not to
really
say too
was.
much. I wasn't trying. I'm not trying to say too much. I'm just trying to say the big fuck off attack that it had. I was able to block, but it still hurt a fuck ton because sorcery.
Yeah, sorcery. It really hurts when you get hit by it.
I mean, it also hurt, but I was just like, ah man, I could technically only block half of that because shields don't block. I mean, some shields block magic more. But, they sacrifice physical stuff, so it doesn't matter. There's a lot of like cool stuff in this game. I mean, we haven't even talked about the grafted. Honestly, we haven't talked about Godric yet,
Oh yeah.
which is another one of the early ones that tells you, get good, you idiot.
Honestly, Godric, he wasn't that bad, but that's just because I went into the castle. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go here later, and then just went around it, went further up, fought all these like badass bosses, and then went back to the castle. I'm like, okay, time to progress things. Oh hey, he's dying in like 5 hits.
Understandable. I mean, he also looked really cool, especially his second phase. I mean, come on, witness me. That shit
Yeah.
was cool. I mean, it was also cool. Like his power was like just grafting things to him, so it was neat.
Yeah, I really had a lot of trouble with Margit.
Yeah,
Yes.
he had a lot of varying different moves.
Yeah, and you
He
never
had a
know when you could
fierce
punish.
arsenal. He had a fierce arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
um, what I did for him was actually just overwhelm him because I had the wolf spirits, and also I picked up the summon sign that was right next to there. So I basically it was a 5-on-1 while all of them were attacking. I was just staggering him.
Yeah, for me, I didn't. I didn't know that you could use summons, or I didn't know how you use summons. I didn't buy the bells or whatever that
I
you
mean, you didn't
do.
have to. I got it for free. I got it from like Ranny the. Well, I mean, her name is Ranny, but I mean, I get it from a witch early on in game due to like me just going back to the church, like the first church. Actually, like the first. I can't call it the first, but it feels like the first. The first church you come upon. That's what I should say.
It's the one that usually you see first. It's not called the first, but it's one of the first that you see.
I was mostly trying to like avoid also like saying other stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I know. But
The church near the tree sentinel that everyone also knows and in quotations loves. Another like big one, but back to Margraf. I basically just overwhelmed him, staggered him, and I did it on my like a new game as well too. I'm like, oh, that was actually really easy. I mean, of course, like
yeah,
on second playthrough, things are going to be easy because you actually know what to do.
exactly.
I mean, I chose the samurai that time because I'm just like I want to try out this stuff. It looks cool.
Oh yeah,
I want the aesthetic.
the samurai is so
It's a
much fun to do.
it's the most aesthetic of the starting classes,
It really
and
is.
and getting the katanas again. Also, the most aesthetic weapons with the most aesthetic attacks. Dear God.
Yeah. Oh, and then my brother showed me something off. There's a katana that you can use with like a magic build that shoots out a blade once you use the art that it has, and it's so cool and does so much
Okay,
damage.
that's sick. Again, like the katanas look cool and are strong.
Yes.
That's why I also went back and did another playthrough. I'm like, I need to try out the game with this one. Excuse me. I mean, also, it was a completely different playstyle than what I was used to because I basically don't block with this one because I'm just one handing the katana. So I'm being more agile rather than, big takey boy. Oh man, I remember what else I wanted to talk about. I mean, Radon is pretty early, but like he's like the boss for Kaliad, basically.
Yeah, he's Kalid's boss, and he is pretty overwhelming if you don't know what to do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you just gotta find a way to get around certain things in this boss fight. I had to find my own way. I'm pretty sure it wasn't the right way, but I found a way.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that boss fight is also really fun too. That one is like really fun.
Oh, it's really fun once you get it down. Though I've
Yeah,
never tried fighting him without the gimmick
the
that's
summon
around.
gimmicks. Let's just say that the summon
Yeah, the
gimmicks.
summit gimmick. I didn't want to say it directly. I wanted you to know,
This
but
one's like a necessary thing for the boss fight, though.
yeah, he doesn't let you get close, and he just uh,
Fires at
punts.
you,
Yeah, he fires at you from afar. If you try to get on your horse, guess what? He has perfect tracking. He's gonna hit you. If you just run around, guess what? You're gonna have to dodge. And there's this one move that he does where it doesn't matter where you are, it tracks.
yeah.
Even if you're going towards him, you're thinking, "Oh, hey, it's just gonna continue going in the direction that it's going." No, it
No,
tracks. It
the
tracks.
thing is with the summons, they go and attack them and distract them, while you can like prepare a bit and also get more summons out.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't tell everyone his other weakness because, I mean, that's a surprise. It's fun. Got to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
Eh, but he is a tough boss fight if you can't get around his his very strong moves.
Yes. He's very strong moves. And it doesn't matter if you're very close or very far away, he will still hit you.
Yeah. Okay, now who else do I want to talk about? Who else do I want to talk about? We talk about a lot of people, but actually, no, I haven't touched South Limgrave that much, even though I know it's like a super easy area. And I just went there and kind of just destroyed everything
It
afterwards.
is a super easy area if you don't go there first. Because I went there
Yeah,
first and I was just like, holy shit, this area is cool. And I went
I
and fought.
discovered it
Yeah.
after the lakes and Khaled.
Oh, no, you missed out on the best part.
So imagine my thing of like, I see. this is this is. I should have came here earlier.
You want to know how I went to South Limgrade?
How?
There was an NPC telling you, hey, there's a fort that's a little bit south from here if you want to go there. And I'm like, okay. And so I just continued going south and south and
Are
south.
you talking? You went the wrong way.
I know.
I know who you're talking about too. The guy that asked you to get the to rescue his fort so he can reward you.
Yes, and I was just like, oh, hey, it's probably across this bridge. Oh, hey, it's very far down. That's a castle, not a fort, right? Well, I'll just take it back. Oh shit, this boss is really difficult, and I had so much fun with it. I don't care if I went the wrong way. I went the right way in my heart.
Fair enough. That's the thing. Like with Elden Ring, like you can accidentally discover like something really awesome for it as well.
They put a really difficult area right next to the beginning area, and guess what? There's a teleport trap from a
Yeah,
chest
there's a lot of.
really close to the beginning.
I for actually forget where exactly that one is. Now there's two actually. There's one with nearby a merchant patches actually, and then there's another one in I believe it's nearby another boss, and they both teleport you to different very difficult areas, and you
Yeah.
can't escape until you find another bonfire or site of grace.
Yeah, or you know exactly where to go to get out.
Yeah. I mean, the game is punishing and it's cruel and it's unrelenting, but at the same time, it makes you feel really great when you do beat it too. When you beat parts of the game. The thing about Elden Ring is it does not help hold your hand. Also, but Elden Ring can at least put you in a very difficult area at the very beginning too. You can get so off track that you can be way in over your head really early.
Yeah, but that's what makes it fun. It honestly, I had that kind of feeling when I was playing Breath of the Wild, but it didn't feel the same. Elden Ring was a lot better because with Breath of the Wild, even if you're fighting a really tough boss that you know you can fight, it doesn't matter if your weapon breaks. You just have nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why I find Elden Ring a lot better because you don't have to
yeah,
worry
because
about your
you can
uh,
still fight on no matter the situation. You can at least try.
exactly.
Like it doesn't hold your hand, but it rewards you when you actually do good. Really do like that about the game.
Yes.
I mean, whether you like explore or bash your head against a wall, like you will get rewarded for it. It is a deterrent for a lot of people though because it can get really hard, and you're most likely not used to exploring. Like I mean, not used to exploring or going against like really tough bosses unless like you're used to Souls like games.
Yeah, it's just I've played other Souls games and none of them really grabbed me like Elden Ring did.
To be fair, yeah, I do like this one a lot more too.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess it's more the open world aspect because with the other ones they're very linear. And sure there are branching paths to get items, but you're still going on a path to one area.
basically still going the same like way, but I mean, like I do remember that, but I mean, Dark Souls it still felt like good because I mean, branching paths was still nice, and I could go to a different area. but I wasn't like allowed full exploration like Elden Ring. If I wanted to, I could play McGrath as the very first, like not McGrath, Radon as my very first boss fight as a wretch without any level up or anything. I'd get absolutely stomped, but I could at least do that because it's just open to me and go seek out whatever the frick I want. I think that freedom is like kind of what helps the game a lot too. I really do like it. I I kind of just want to gel on some stuff now. Isn't it freaking cool that I just love the Ashes of War, honestly. Every single one of them. They are like everyone it's very hard to make every like a new skill unique, I would say. And they somehow managed to do it.
Yeah, and they're so much fun to master.
Like
Like
you
if
can
you know
specialize.
how you're using it, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's great. It also like helps out with different builds too. I mean, normally when I do a tank or just full melee build, I won't use like any of my magic bar at all or have a reason to. But like with the skills and the Ashes of War, it makes me want to, makes me consider it. Same thing with like summons too. Like I mean, summons are also really unique and act in different ways and have different AIs, and they're also really cool.
Yeah. The only thing is I didn't know how to use the summons, and even when I did, I still didn't really want to use it because it made some bosses trivial and too easy.
Eh, for me, it like helped out for a bunch of them where it was just like, this one's kind of bullshit. Or like I'm getting double teamed in an area, and I'm like, okay, now it's a 2-on-2.
Yeah, those
I
are
want you to distract that guy while I'm attacking this one. And I mean, sometimes the summon also isn't the option. It honestly isn't the play a lot of the time. Because I mean, where I could have used a summon, I could have used all that FP for my barrier shield or a buff on my sword or something. I'm just like, I can't use the summon here. It's better for me to just attack with this or keep barrier shield in and block everything. But I mean, the game like that. I mean, that's also what I'm trying to express here. This game makes you think a lot about your decisions, whether it's in or out of combat, of where you want to go, how do you want to spec, what armor, weapons, if you want a two hand or one hand, what stat you want to like allocate to. Is it worth going after this boss? You have to like think about every action you take in the game, and I mean, when it succeeds, it really feels worth it. And a lot of times, like when you do fail, it's like, oh, back to the drawing board. I mean, I think that's also why it could be a deterrent too. I mean, it's not like a super relaxing game either. I should say it's more of like it's a game that makes me feel good, but it doesn't allow me to relax at all.
yeah, no, it's a challenge and you really have to earn the victories that you have.
I mean, like when you earn those victories, they're pretty good victories because the game is never holding your hand throughout the game. Like, even if you do get the big laser beam stuff, you had to spend the time and effort to go find, get it, and allocate your points towards it, you know?
Yeah.
And
And
you
even
had to.
then, it's still not easy because you need to you need to be safe in order to actually activate it.
Yeah, you have to, like, honestly, no matter what you do, it feels earned when you actually do it, you know,
Exactly.
because you spent the time to do the parkour or search around more. Like, I think I'm reiterating myself on stuff, but, like, it's really important for people that don't know as well. You are going to lose a lot. You are going to die a lot. But if you
Yes.
keep on going on or seek another way through, you will do it eventually, and it
Yes.
will feel
Dying is
really
just
amazing.
part of the game. Once you realize that it comes as naturally as whatever else would.
I wouldn't say like dying is like a form of failure at all. There's some
No,
things you just don't know.
it's as long as you learn from your failures, you will go on and find success later on. That's all you need to have in your pocket to succeed.
Heck, I would say like yeah, basically as long as you learn from them, as long as you get stronger afterwards, it is you can do it. You can do it easily.
Yes, and I would say if you're really wanting to get into this game and you're like, "Oh, this is too hard," or it's so it's such a bad feeling when you have a lot of souls, or they call it runes in this game.
Runes, yeah,
Basically, something that you need to accumulate a lot of to buy stuff or level up. Basically, if you lose any kind of runes, don't feel discouraged about that. You can just grind them up again.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing too. Like, you can't clear out an area permanently too, so you can actually get more runes back, which is a thing of Souls games. It's nice. It gives you a chance to retry.
Yeah.
Nothing is really lost progress. I feel like I think people feel that it is that way when they do like lose runes or you know can't find their way back or something like that. It's more of just like a detour, really. I mean, I feel like we talked a lot about like positively about the game too. Um, I feel like we should take a break and come back as well. Now we've been talking for like 40 minutes now or so, 45.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 43 minutes.
Yeah, and I just lost myself. I haven't even like got into the stuff that I have a little bit of gripes about because I can't be fully like 100% positive to this game. I got to be 100% with everything. Can't just half-ass the yeah. So just everything's good. But do you want to take a break now?
Yeah, sure. Okay. We'll be right back after the break. For you, it'll be an instant. So, see ya.
See. You.
Cool.
Hi, and welcome back to Gameroom Discourse.
We're going to continue our talk on Elden Ring,
Just in case,
and yeah,
just in case it gets split up. I forget.
yeah,
But yeah, we'll continue with Elden now.
yeah.
Wanted
Uh,
to,
I think we were going to talk about our gripes.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I do want to start with messages first.
Yeah, the online
Before,
aspect of the game.
before, yeah. What are the online aspects? You can see this if you are online. If you aren't, see these messages. These are helpful and hurtful to the game, and could be done better. I mean, there's a lot done with them now because now add just to them and you can make them more complex, which is nice. So you can actually better convey a message. Also, the appraisal system for it though is whack. You can't see if the message is good or bad. Many people could have just said the message is bad, but all you see is appraisal 595. I was like, oh, it must be good.
No,
No,
no.
no.
And then you don't know if the liar ahead means that there's a trick wall or that someone who's saying there's a trick wall is a liar.
Yeah. I mean, I was tricked before and there was a trick wall, like a hidden passage. Oh, I guess I'll try this. And then I see a message later on, liar ahead, and I'm like, uh, kind of wish I knew that sooner. And like, I mean, of course they can be helpful too. Like, left my fair messages of like, oh, there's an ambush over here, and I've gotten ones telling me there's an ambush or there's an item ahead. Go around this way. Like, it's really nice some of the time, but also some people can tell you, hey, jump off this spot, it's safe, and dead. Yeah, I mean, it could be done better. It, it, it's also it has some good aspects, but it could be done better. Now, do you got anything to say about messages?
um, I just gotta say that the way that you appraise them, it's really backwards. Like the right button is for rating them down, and the left button is for rating them up, and it's just like, what? Usually the
Could
one that you
you?
press first is the start button, which is the right one, and it's just like, why? And so sometimes when I'm trying to disparage something, it actually appraises it well. I'm like, what the fuck? I know that's
I
like
don't know if you can.
I don't know if you
Can you
can change it. It's it's just me not being used to it, but I know UX design and it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. Messages could be done better. I mean, it also tells you where you could stand, but also it makes it just like out of the. It's just like, come on, man.
Yeah. Or it could say something like, "Are you sure you want to appraise this message as good?"
Also, sometimes you just hear the same jokes a lot of the time. Of try
Like
finger butthole.
try finger butthole or
You do
what
not
is
have the
it?
right to. Also, you don't have the right to, and you don't have the right to, nor do you have the right to.
Yes, or Fortnite.
Like, yeah, those happen a lot, and it's just not helpful. Or sometimes you just have a message, so you like go somewhere, and it's just like, well, you got me here now, and this wasn't important. The thing is, you can't like just completely ignore messages too because they are like for one boss, one of the messages told me here, like it told me to like it drew me to that location to stand there and it protected me.
Uh I've never really had those like where a message just ruins a boss for me.
I wouldn't say it like ruined the boss for me, but it like told me, oh, this is the spot you're supposed to go. Like a quick hint to like, oh, this helps.
Yeah.
But also sometimes I have gotten big pranked by a message, and I was just like, that sucks.
Yeah, like Elden Ring ahead and then you drop down a hole and die.
Yeah, basically.
Mhm.
First time like encountered a message, it was like secret passage here. Took way too long for me to figure out that it was a lot. I mean, back to the online aspect, I should say. I mean, mostly the online is what I feel like needs work. Uh, co-op. It's still the same kind of thing as like Dark Souls One. I kind of feel like could have done more since then. Feel like we could like keep around people for longer. You know, to take out a boss or maybe actually co-op the game together, even with the difficulty spike from the entire game. I'd be okay with that if I had the option to. I would do it most of the time. You know what I mean? Like most of the time, you can only summon people to defeat one boss or clear one area out, or unless you want to, just hang out and actually just do arenas or something and do duels. Yeah. And I mean, also, we had a hard time like actually like, syncing up. Like, oh yeah, you actually had to put in this password HHH Greg with two
No,
H's at the end.
no,
No, I'm kidding.
that was just me. That's just a me
no,
thing.
no. I'm just saying, like, if it was a different password, still, I feel like I'd mess it up too. Because it's like, okay, is that password capitalized or not capitalized?
Yeah, it should have it just all caps or all lowercase, but I understand why they did it. It might be too easy to just enter into someone
Like,
else's game without their permission.
yeah,
That's kind of why I chose that specific password because it's like, who the fuck would set their password to HHH Greg? Me.
yeah, it's you. But it makes it like really easy for me. Like, okay, when like I actually see your summons,
Yeah, and then I put it as my actual name so that people can be like, "Oh, hey, this is definitely the guy who I'm looking for."
yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
also a thing of like, oh, I mean, you have to craft the item where you buy it, but I mean, it kind of sucks for people that don't know how to like actually do it. Because I've heard people like, I don't know how to co-op in this game, and I'm like, you need the item, right? And that isn't told to a lot of people.
Yeah.
It isn't one of like the tutorial things that it tells you. Basically, it expects you to know from reading and from previous Dark Souls
I
games,
don't want to
Souls-like
read.
games.
That's letters, and I don't like letters. I like pictures.
The
Bring
thing
me a
is, though,
picture book.
for Souls-like games, you have to read because it's actually important information
No, I skip it all
most of
and
the
just
time.
yeah,
Most
most
of
of
the
the time.
time, like for the paintings, I don't look at those. I don't look at any of that information. Bruh. This is just a collectible at this point. Another one for co-op. You have to for invaders to come in or like more than one. You have to actually defeat an optional boss first, and then still it's like 3-2. You can still summon like three co-op. You can still like summon two other co-op members, and then two invaders will come as well, which I don't feel is like even for the invader, but fair, but also fair because you could just get jumped by very high level people. I understand that, but at the same time, the invader basically has no shot most of the time. If it isn't going to just be a solo one on one.
Yeah. Plus, when you summon other people, it makes their health increased.
Yeah, I've noticed that because I was just like, I'm a tank, but now I'm tankier. Why? Why? I mean, to be fair, you only get like three flasks of each kind when you actually go as a co-op member or invade, I believe. So you you're basically limited. So you kind of have to be a little beefier. But you could also abuse that, and I feel like I don't know. I don't know the direct that way for some of the other ones.
Yeah.
It's a little bit hard to like. I see why they did it, but I feel like it can be better. That's what I'm saying.
That's a lot of things with this game, but I think that just might be a thing of it's the sort of genre that we're used to, and they're not used to the regular things of that genre. Uh,
This
we're
I
just
can't
used to
get some people.
conveniences that From Software just like, what convenience? What's that? I would never do that. That's crazy. Though I guess they did kind of do that with the Stake of Marika with the
Yeah,
runbacks.
exactly. Yeah, those are nice.
I just wish there was a mini map so I didn't have to make sure there were no
I
enemies
also
aggroed
wanted
onto me.
I do also want a mini map too,
Yeah.
because all the time I have to check on the map sometimes of where I'm going, because I am directionally challenged when it comes to video games.
Yes, I can tell
It
because when you went to Minecraft, you just kinda got lost for 20,000 blocks, and it's just like, "Oh, hey, we finally found something." And then one of our friends just goes out in a different direction, is like, "Oh, hey, I found it within 2,000 blocks."
no, it was upsetting, but
Yeah.
I'm very directionally challenged, and I'm just like, okay, am I going the right way? And only having a compass above your head and like little markers you put on your map isn't always the best thing. I would also like to, because otherwise I always have to check like my map every couple of like steps, and I'm like, okay, where am I going? I gotta make sure I'm in the right area. This kind of looks like the map, and nope, nope, I'm not there. Not at that spot. I'm actually the completely different.
Honestly, I think I have a good idea for it because they were probably thinking like, "Oh, hey, it's gonna take up some." Either they were thinking, "Oh, hey, now we have to make like a map that it can go under," where they could have just taken the main map and been like,
And
"Oh,
open.
hey, be in the bottom right." But they probably thought it would take up more screen space. That's why you don't have the HUD like normally. But what they could have done is that it's always showing up on the bottom right, unless if you switch that option off, or like
It could
say
also
it,
be
it
like,
doesn't show up, but it does show up if you press Y.
yeah, that's it. Like an optional like tick on or off, like for the lantern that you find in the game at some point. Like you can just tick on like a little light on you, so that way darker areas are lit up. You can do the same thing like for a map, so that way you can just quickly bring it out. That you can always have, and then turn off where like when you're in a boss fight, so that way you need more screen space to see everything.
Yeah.
Something you just tick on and off would be nice for that.
Though I have been playing Dark Souls 3, and I have noticed that From Software likes to put little shortcuts where it's just like, "Oh, hey, this is going to go here." No, it goes into a completely different area. What the fuck? This is still a shortcut, but what the hell? How does this map work? They probably still wanted to keep that feeling, and mini maps would have ruined it, but still, in an open world game, you need mini maps.
It helps a lot more, so that way you don't, again, so you're not doing what I'm doing. Map every couple of seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, I
I,
do like the shortcuts though, because they are nice. And, okay, here's a cool little thing of like, here's an elevator back down. Here's a stair ladder you unlocked now. Opened up the area, opened up a door, so now you can just instantly go back there.
You know what? Here's a
It's nice.
compromise. If you can summon your horse, you should be able to have a mini map. If you can't summon your horse, you shouldn't be able to have a mini map. That way you could still
Fair enough.
keep yeah, that way you could still keep the allure of like what the fuck is the shortcut while still having a I don't know where I'm like I know where I'm going because there's a mini map here.
I do like that thought too, because if you can sum your basically more open area anyway, probably
Yeah.
would want a mini map.
Exactly. Exactly.
And also, if you haven't unlocked the actual map of the area, you shouldn't be. I should say.
No, I would say it would be the grayed out one where you could see the path, but that's it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, basically have it just be a mirrored version of the map that you have.
For like a certain amount of area, we should say.
Yeah. Because
I
then
mean,
there's the underground, which in some places you can summon a horse, other places you can't.
yeah, yeah,
But in the places that you can't, honestly, it's pretty linear.
yeah. There's a lot of the underground is a lot more linear than one, but I mean, like, there's the underground feels like more of classic Souls games of like branching off paths than like the rest of the world.
Yeah, and just one area that you have to get to end it
It's
and
like,
stuff like that. And it's not
I mean, it's
completely
still
obvious where it
fun.
is. Yeah, oh, it's
Yeah,
amazingly fun.
there's just multiple bosses in the areas. It has its own feel for each area too, of like, and then it makes you think of like, oh, that would make sense for this kind of world, wouldn't it? A lot of the time, of like, oh, that's where that comes. Like it's really nice. It's nice lore based area too, so it's nice. I like it.
Yes.
Again,
But
it's something that like me for my exploration, but also at the same time, uh,
It was a
maps would be nice.
inconvenience. It wasn't as bad as like a major inconvenience, but it wasn't a mild inconvenience either. It was just an inconvenience.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Now another gripe. PC is absolutely screwed by this game.
Yes, the PC port is pretty bad. I would say that definitely.
No controller. There's no scheme for. There's no scheme for the keyboard and mouse for. It's just controller actions.
No,
From
there is a scheme for keyboard and mouse. It's just not as
I mean,
good.
it isn't displayed in the game though,
Yeah, it isn't.
and you get like controls and stuff for the game. Like it tells you to do this something on a controller when you're playing on mouse and keyboard.
Yeah. Also, no crossplay.
Also, no crossplay, which is another big gripe of mine. Co-op is already limited as it is. Why can't I at least play it with my friend on PC or PlayStation?
Like, I know it isn't the company's problem. It's usually like, oh hey, Sony, Microsoft, and usually Nintendo, but it's not on the Switch. But those three companies are usually anal about each other, though. Xbox and Nintendo have been getting along,
Yeah, they have.
and Microsoft owns both Xbox and PC. They own both Xbox and PC. Why couldn't it just
PC.
be crossplay for that? If there's at least a little bit of cross, it's their first foray into the DirectX 12 engine, so I understand they have a couple of things to fix. But it's
I
just
mean,
in this day and age, crossplay should be regular.
it should be a normality. It should
Yeah,
be something we're used to in a game.
yeah. The
If it isn't
crossplay,
like
cross
only on one
saves.
game.
Yeah,
Oh, definitely cross saves for Elden. Dear God, cross saves. Is it not cross save? Is Elden Ring cross save? Hold on. This is one of the games that I feel definitely should be cross save.
it isn't.
Uh,
At least if it
uh,
is, then I don't know how the hell to do it. It is not self-explanatory.
let's look this up. Let's look this up since we have the availability of the internet at our fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, nor even cross save. Nope, no cross save by the looks of it.
Only between PS4 and PS5, and that is only from PS4
It
up to PS5.
it's cross gen. I do remember that it is cross.
It's
Elden Ring is
only
cross gen too.
cross-gen between PS4, PS5, and then the whole Xbox
It's,
series.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a little bit a big oof on that one.
Incredible oof.
So I mean, like, yeah. I mean, also it's hard enough. Also, not being able to play with kind of hard. I mean, also like Elden Ring has gained a lot of popularity too, so people do want to try it,
Yeah,
but they also have no information on it, basically.
yeah, I remember the first week that it was out, the servers were completely gone because so many people wanted to play.
I mean, of course, it looks fun, but I mean, also a bunch of people don't know about Souls games too much.
Yeah.
I remember some people saying, yeah, well, I mean, I've been seeing reviews for people saying, "Oh, I bought this game in mind to do like to play with a friend," and I'm like, about that,
Yeah,
about that.
about
Ye-
that.
Certain sections at a time. Yes, you can, but yeah, it isn't like you're queuing up with your friends in Call of Duty or Halo or anything like that. You help a friend with a section, and that is it, and you got to resummon them, and that's a item you have to craft or buy. Excuse me. So it costs resources. So early on, you might not even be able to do that. And plus, you might not even know what the item is. Like at least if I'm going for Dark Souls 3, I at least write summoning item because I played Dark Souls 1. But for this, I didn't figure it out until I like actually read it as the item.
Yeah.
I mean, at the same time though, for multiplayer, it does show up when you go to multiplayer. This is the group of multiplayer items, including that one. I mean, also not all the multiplayer items are available to you at the very beginning too. You have to like get some of them, like the dueling stuff, like being an invader. You actually have to go out and find some of the stuff. It isn't immediately accessible. It's kind of a good and bad thing because that way you don't have very low level people going into like really high level worlds and getting stomped and thinking invading is not worth it. But at the same time, I feel like since the rest of the game has this thing of freedom and exploring, I feel like you should allow people to do that early on. I mean, you won't even like really get access to any of that stuff until you get into the round table hold, which is something you access like early on in game. But people, if you don't get it immediately, people won't. I mean, what else? I mean, do I want to talk about the round table hold? I'm kind of neutral on it, even though it's like the most visited area you have to, besides like the start of the game, besides the first step.
Uh, I mean, it's cool, but it's kind of just the
It's
area where I teleport, where it's just like, oh hey, do this, do that, leave. Okay.
basically, it feels very dead most of the time. I mean, some people go there, but also a lot of people leave, and then eventually it becomes dead if you don't know where the quest lines are or go for them.
Yeah.
Heck, one of the rooms you don't, if you don't interact with one of the people in the round table hold, you won't even unlock another room. There's a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff you can just avoid in there too, because basically most of the time I just go back there for upgrades and
Yeah,
as
I go
like a
there to upgrade.
surefire safe way
I
place.
I go there for things to buy, upgrades for my weapon, for the ashes that you can summon, but that's kind of
Yeah,
it.
I mean I got a good ash of that I keep on to use. I need to get rid of one of them that I have on me. I mean I don't like the wolves anymore because they're just kind of bad.
Um, I would recommend you the Mimic tier, but it just got nerfed.
It did get nerfed, didn't it? I mean I faced a mimic tier boss. I haven't found a mimic tier ash yet, but I've of course heard of it. Which
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Because
Uh,
you know,
I guess the Clean
currently,
Rot Soldier, but that's a late game, like a really late game thing.
I mean, I'm near the. I mean, I can find an guys, but I actually
I'm talking
yet.
about you need to go to the top right, then you need to go to the bottom, then you need to go to the top middle, then you need to go even further to the top, then you need to descend down, then you need to go down even further.
I don't even know what you're. I kind of get what you're saying, but at the same time, if you get what I mean,
Yeah, it
there
is
we're clear. We're on the same page. Got it.
words goodly.
Yes. I don't know if I have it in my god. I'd have to check my inventory to just get ashes of war. Okay, go into the thing now. Go into the
You
box. You are my Pokemon.
you probably don't because you said you haven't gone to the
Is it the underground like Scarlet
no,
Rot area?
it's not underground.
It's the top snowy area?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I haven't gone through. So no.
It's like the furthest that you can get in that area.
Uh, okay then. So no, I don't have them.
Exactly.
I currently have Ancient Ancestral Spirit, that one, because it's a solid one that you get from ancient spirit boss fight, and this one has good long range and close range. So I'm just like, oh, this is nice. This works. This is like an actual smart AI too. That's the current one I'm running, but normally I have the low cost dogs one, but up against like later game AI, they're bad.
Yeah, but I mean, there is one where you don't need to worry about FP. It's the Mimic Tier Ashes, and yeah, it doesn't take FP. It takes from your health, which you can just regenerate.
Oh, for me as a tank person, I like hearing that.
Yes.
But yeah, Mimikyu would probably be the one for low cost one. We just had to be like, am I willing to sacrifice your health for this? In which case, most of the time, yes. Because the wolves one that I have are good for early game, mostly because they overwhelm most people and bosses. Because there's three of them and they can attack you multiple times. They can't stagger at all for the life of them, but they can at least keep them stun locked for a bit.
Yeah.
But they just charge in and do the stupidest stuff. Dear God, Ancestral Spirit at least like stays back and like tries to snipe for, which works well against some bosses that are running at you to draw their attention and whatnot. It's really nice. But again, that's to me of like not finding the Mimikyu Ashes. I fought the boss, but I haven't found the tears yet, which is upsetting. I mean the ashes yet. I mean the ashes are also nice too. It's a new thing. Ashes of ashes for the like the summon ashes are really nice. Like makes the game feel different from the Souls games. It's a cool new mechanic,
Yeah.
but you have to find it, so you might not be able to like get the thing you want unless I look up where the mimic tier ashes are. I'm most likely I could like completely bypass it. It sounds good. It works well. Probably want it. At the same time, I could completely miss it. Anything else you want to talk about, Joey?
Performance?
Yeah. I mean, on console, I don't feel it too much, but sometimes, like, it's just like if too many things are on screen, it will like start to lag a little bit.
You have the 1S, right?
Yeah,
Okay, because it's a lot better than the one, like the original one, which
yeah.
was terrible. Where I see my brother playing and it's like, oh hey, it's 15 frames per second at the highest. And yeah, I know that's the whole thing about you shouldn't really care about performance or whatever, but the thing is 30 FPS is like the minimum because if it's not smooth enough, people will feel sick. They'll start to feel sick playing it.
I would even say that. I feel like it actually affect your gameplay if you're not getting, and especially like for a Souls like game. Also because like you like a lot of your stuff in this game is reactionary, and having the information to like stop it helps you out. I feel like I would die more often if like my gameplay wasn't performing too well.
Exactly. And usually with the FPS as it goes up, the input delay goes down, at least for PC. So if it's at 30 or less, you kind of don't have it, you have less
Input.
time to react. because the input.
delay would
It's
also.
it's hard to explain.
I mean, I feel like I would feel input delay too because I normally build of just like so my swings are gonna be late and take long. So if I press something and then it comes out like 3 seconds later when I after I've already gotten jumped, it's gonna really hurt. Input is a big problem. Just not having your moves coming out right time, especially in this game, especially in Elden.
Yeah, and then there's also the fact of the buffer system. Like, oh my god, you press a
Getting
button and then you think, oh hey, it's been long enough. I shouldn't. It shouldn't have been there yet, but then still comes out, and you're just like, what the hell?
you know what? Actually, one of the button problems I do sometimes I just accidentally graze my freaking circle slash B button and just take a step back, like a big jump back. And sometimes I'm just on a big giant ledge, and I'm like, well, guess I died because I just grazed my button. Or sometimes it doesn't read like it as a run, as a dodge. It's just, I'm gonna jump backwards on this really high ledge and die. I wish that registered a little bit better.
Yeah, like you press the circle button once, and you're just like, I don't know if that actually came out. So you press it again, or I guess the B button. It's just the dodge button for me. So you press it again, and then by the time you're able to do it, it does it. Then it does it again.
Yeah, yeah. Because sometimes it registers like I just wanted to get the dodge button out as fast as possible, so I tried to make sure that it was actually pressed. But it's like, no, nope, it read the second one too, even though you didn't. So now you're dodge rolling, even though you shouldn't, and you get hit by that thing you shouldn't have gotten hit. It's it's a slight issue that you can get used to, but at the same time, I wish I didn't have to.
Yeah, it would be better if you didn't have to deal with it. I'd say it's kind of like Smash Ultimate's buffer system, just to go to something that we both know very well.
Yeah, I
It, it's
pressed that
just
button. Why
it,
did
it's
it come
just
out?
too much. Like having no buffer feels absolutely awful. Having too much feels almost equally awful. You have to have a sweet spot.
I mean, Elden Ring is still new. I'd say they might fix a bunch of the in the future, but I mean,
Usually they don't do big gameplay changes
yeah,
with
it'd be,
Souls games
yeah.
this early on.
I mean, I'll be hopeful, you know, be hoping that they actually do that. It could change, but also it could not. And excuse me.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, I
also just
still
can't. I
like the
can't wait until
game.
the DLC. Like I know people are
I,
talking about like the game just came out, and I'm like, I want more content. Please give it to me.
there's a lot of content. Just if you go out and actually go find, you can probably find more stuff to do too. Even if you 100% into achievement, I feel like there's still more to discover. There's a bunch of stuff not associated with the achievements. You can find Godfrey's old body.
Yeah,
You can find like a bunch of get optional boss fights. I mean, there's a bunch of them out there. Fun, get new weapons, trout. I mean, there's also always PvP. PvP. I mean, like, I think I'm not. I don't have a lot of gripes. Elden Ring, for the most part, even though like I spent about like 30 minutes now on Gripes.
Yeah, it's honestly small in the whole scheme of things with how
The
big
good
Elden
out
Ring is.
yeah,
Yeah.
the good outweighs the bad by a lot. I feel like I could easily keep on playing this for like years. Like I can go in with a different character for a bit and play a whole different experience. Basically, I keep on finding new stuff that I can't use with this build, but if I was a different build, I can use it.
Yeah.
Also, that's why like I started my. I mean, so, yeah, again, I do sometimes wish I was a different build. Sometimes, not because I don't like my build, because I can actually use some of the stuff I get. So I have like 8 memory slots now for my tank build that I don't use. Like for spells and incantations, I only use half of them, and it's just
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? If I was a sorcerer, this would be better. And also, like, I'd find weapons that are just like, hey, here's another sweet katana for you. Thanks. I can't use it. It makes me want to play the game more, I should say. It wants me to play it in different ways too.
Yeah.
Joey, do you have anything else you want to? I keep on. I feel like I'm speaking a lot here, and I don't want to like talk over you or make sure that. I want to make sure you get your say.
I mean, I kind of don't really have much else to say about Elden Ring that isn't like a spoiler.
I mean, fair enough. Again, that can also be a spoiler for me. I also haven't completed the game yet. I'm just exploring. I'm just going out of my way to see as much as I possibly, and I keep on finding more stuff. So I'm not. I haven't completed it yet. I got the green light to complete to go and get to the end of the game a while ago, like halfway through most of my time in the game. But I'm just like, no, I want to see more.
Yeah, there's just so much to see in the game. And even then, like there's things you can miss that you have to go into New Game Plus for.
Or stuff you can get locked out of because you're not doing a certain quest, or
Yep.
ugh, stuff you can completely miss because like of a certain thing. Oh, I can't go down here. There's this thing that I missed this last time. There's so like a big problem with open world games all the time is that the place is empty. But for Elden Ring, there's so much stuff in every corner that you can miss. You can miss a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like even though I'm trying to explore everything, I'm still missing because it's just that easy. I feel like I think we're. Have we said everything we want? I feel like I've gotten what to say out.
Yeah, I kind of don't really have anything else to say.
Man, kind of. Well, fair enough. It's a good game. Um, Elden
It's a
Ring is a
very
good
good
game. If you,
game, well worth the $60 that it's on sale for.
I feel like you should do research for it. If you haven't played a Souls game yet, maybe be a little bit reluctant to play it,
Yeah,
or you
if you haven't played it or you're not interested in it in like Soulsborne games, then probably not going to be a fit for you. If you've wanted to get into it but it just hasn't clicked, I'm going to say right now it's probably going to click with this game.
this one I feel is better than the Dark Souls game, the previous games. Honestly, all the Souls games. Honestly, it's just good. I feel like if you wanted to get into a game, this one make that click for you. It's
Yes.
really good. even if the combat isn't your thing, the lore isn't your thing, it looks really beautiful. It has a pretty, I'd say it's a pretty decent community. It isn't the worst gaming community, I should say, but there's a lot to like about it. Good music, good art. The
Oh,
combat itself is also really good, and there's multiple forms of combat.
yeah,
So even if you don't like the combat you start out with, find one that you like. It's all about just exploring everything for
yeah. It's all about exploring, finding the thing that's right for you. Try as many weapons as you can until you find one that you absolutely love. Don't be ashamed of using some builds. Like if things are too
Don't be
complicated for
ashamed of
you,
summoning people. Don't be
yeah, don't.
ashamed of summoning people or friends.
Yeah,
Do what you like. Play a game. It is game. It's fun.
yes, play the game the way you want. Okay, I think that's good.
Yeah. Well, this has been Gamer Discourse talking about Elden. I've been James,
I've been Joey.
and we'll see you next time. Thanks for sticking with us for this talk about Elden Ring.
Yeah, see ya.